Local news with Airpark Canterbury. Find cheaper airport parking and we'll beat it by 10%. airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
Christchurch Deputy Mayor Pauline Cotter is with me. Hello to you. Nice to see you, Pauline.
Good morning, Chris. Nice to see you too.
What is driving the proposed 70% increase in Christchurch's parking fines?
Well, that's actually a government policy, so they've been reviewing that for a few years. That's what's driving it. But when you think about it, over a few years, we've had considerable inflation, haven't we? So I guess it's probably not a bad idea. I don't know about you, but I've heard quite a few people saying, well, for a $12 parking fine, you may as well just not put any money in the meter and come back and get the fine. So it may address some of that. And of course, the main reasons for having time-restricted parking is to really share the parking spaces when you think about it. So we've got to think about sharing the spaces in town. So you get a limited time and you're charged for it. And then if you exceed that, you get whammed. So, I mean, going from 12 to 20, it's not excessive still.
No, it's not. And I was interested to read too that the fines haven't increased in years.
Yeah, that's right. And look at all the inflation that we've had. So it'll actually help because there is a cost for council to enforce these. So it will actually help to cover those costs. And it will also help to hopefully change behaviour so people respect the time limitations as well.
Particularly with people
from the government. It's not a council's bill, so they don't need to consult on it or anything like that.
Given the number of crashes that I report, particularly on Christchurch's Southern Motorway near the Rolleston area, I was quite surprised to hear the Selwyn District Mayor championing or at least supporting raising the speed limit from 100 k's per hour to 120. It seems, for me personally, it seems like a strange proposal. I wonder what your thoughts were.
And I think it surprised his own council somewhat as well. Look, that's his view. I don't share that view because, if it's 120, people are going to go 130, and that's really fast. And we know that if there is an incident or a crash, the damage is a lot worse. So I think it's excessive 120 quite personally. Yeah.
I mean, I see, when I'm going down that motorway quite often, actually, I think most people do abide by that speed limit because there are a lot of police around also, but 120, and I mean, I only say this from the experience I do with reporting the number of crashes down that Southern Motorway, whether it's driver inattention or what have you, it seems to be enormous. So I was surprised by that. So for you, you say you wouldn't support any increase?
No, I don't support going that fast. Look, a few years ago, I had to go to the West Coast to Westport like twice a month. And I got up to 80 demerit points for speeding because I thought, the limit's 100, I can go 109, and you look away and you're going 115 or something. So I had to really pull my head in. And I used to 95. And I tell you what, it's far more relaxing. You do get people past, but it's far more relaxing and it doesn't take you any longer to get where you're going. So I learned that the hard way. Luckily, it wasn't too late, but it was a hard way.
Yes, I've learned a few of those lessons going down Hillswood Junction Road, but that's another story. A lot of discussion regarding Gloucester Street trial and whether it should be made permanent. It seems from some public sentiment, it's about 50-50. Are you able to speak on that? I know it's before some kind of hearings panel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is at the moment. That might be concluding today or very soon, I believe. I think the waiting is slightly more to make it permanent from what I've read, but I'm not definitely sure. So that'll come back to council with a report from the hearings panel, a recommendation whether to rip it out or keep it in. But
I don't think I've been down there since the trial started. But what do you think? What are your general thoughts on that?
Well, I think we've got to skip to the future and imagine the Court Theatre open. I mean, gosh, that's coming along, isn't it? It's going to be fed. And when there's events on there and the Isaac Theatre and the piano, it's going to be a vibrant walking space. You'll still be able to drive down it, but it's not a main dragging. Things have changed. You've got that dead end anyway with Te Pai on Colombo Street, so not a hell of a huge point actually driving down, unless you're dropping somebody in them up, and then you just go slowly. I think it's quite fun, actually, and I think the fun stuff in the city is good. We're getting a really good reputation, our city, for being an attractive city to come to. And things like that fun stuff in Gloucester Street, I think, is really attracting people. And they do show that actually there's statistics say there's no harm in the business. So I don't know why the business folk are really kicking back about it. Let's wait and see. And next we see what the hearings panel comes back with, because they'll have a really good look at it.
Fair enough. I hate to talk about this again, but anyway, we'll give it a go. The Christchurch Cathedral, it's now likely to be mothballed. I think I reported on your comments saying we need to be championing the city, we need to be advocates for the city, ambassadors, and I agree with you. Now I'm thinking, what now? I mean, we've ruled out giving, the government's ruled out giving more money. Even the cathedral said, stop, pause, we don't want your council cash because we're not sure what to do with it. What do you know? What do you understand? What are you hearing? Is it a done deal? What do you know, Pauline?
Oh, it's really disappointing, isn't it? And what does mothballing mean? It's a horrible word, really, isn't it? Sorry, we all know the challenges in this, economic climate for fundraising. It's worldwide. So they've kind of been caught in this era of that challenge. It's disappointing. They're going to come and talk to us next week and let us know what their plans are. Look, they're probably praying for a miracle like we all are. We've got to this point, and I think, as I said in the meeting last week, that if we had done nothing and allowed no strengthening and making it safe, and if we had actually voted to demolish it years ago, 2017-18, it would have still been sitting there like a pile of rubble, as it was straight after the earthquake, because it would have been held up in a court case from the Civic Trust. So, in some ways, we're better off now because of the efforts that these people have made and the sacrifice they've made and the money they've put in themselves is incredible. So I think it's a wait and see now, and let's all pray with them, because I don't think there's any point going backwards now. We've got to keep going forward. So if we can be tidy and safe, then hopefully council can get along with, doing our restoration work in the square around it. But I'd love to see the space that they're occupying reduced in the short term anyway. Maybe we should just put a glass box over it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
See, I mean, that's what Bob Parker suggested. Remember, he suggested encapsulating the thing with some kind of strong perspex. And I thought, for better or worse, it is a disaster tourism centrepiece now. Yeah. I just want to move on very briefly, and you've got council staff who are competing in the Paralympics as well. Go them.
Yeah. So we've got 18-year-old Gabby Smith, and she's a lifeguard at the Graham Condon Centre. And we've got Lily Fox Mason, who works at Pioneer. And so we just want to wish them well. They're heading over there to compete in the 2 or 3 events each, I think. So isn't that exciting? So cool.
It is good. Pauline Cotter, nice to see you. Thanks so much for your time. You have a great day.
Oh, good chatting, Chris. Cheers.